Hi and welcome. So, in today's video, I thought I would tell you the story of how I came to know my main guide, Matt. So, I talk a lot about Matt. He he is my main guide who has been with me since the very beginning of time and will be with me forever. He's my best friend. He's everything to me. He works with me when I do my spirit art. He's actually above my desk in a framed portrait. So yeah, so let's get on with it. So it all started um, when I was kind of going through my spiritual awakening, and at the time, at the time, it was more about knowing your angels. Everything to be seemed to be focused to angels, and I didn't know so much about spirit guides. There wasn't this big thing at the time on spirit guides. That's just how I felt it. Um, and yeah, it's all about angels. And just to backtrack, I was brought up Christian. I used to go to Sunday school. I wouldn't say I was like a Bible basher kid, but I did say my prayers every morning, and I would talk to God a lot growing up, and I still do. I used to just every day talk openly to him, like he was my best friend. I knew he could hear everything. So so yeah, it was all about God and the angels when I was growing up. So at the time, a couple of my friends had gone and had angel readings, and they were told what their angels looked like, their names. And I'm not gonna lie, I I was jealous at the time. I was like, I want to know who my angels are. I love my angels. I want to know their names. I had a big fat ego then, so hopefully my ego doesn't come into things so much these days. But yeah, so I went on a bit of a quest to find out who my angels were. So me and my friends went to this mind, body, and spirit fair that came to our little city in the town hall. And I remember rocking up at this desk, and I was like, I really want to connect with my angels and know more about them. So I sat down, and she couldn't read me. And no one wants to hear that. Oh, I can't read you. So she was she was like, here, hold this. It was just like this long branch that she looked like she found it in the woods. And she's like, sit with that for 5 minutes, and I'll get back to you. So I'm sat here with this stick, and I feel like a right old idiot, and people are looking at me. And I just remember looking at it thinking, this reminds me of like a Burundi wand, the Burundi wand out of Superman. So yeah, I'm sat with this stick, and I'm not really vibing with this. Um, so I had my friend with me, and funny enough, she was picking up on her. So heads up, if you're gonna have a reading, or you're gonna go to one of these events and sit down and your mate's with you, don't have your mate with you, because obviously the medium or the psychic is potentially going to pick up on their energy and not yours. So she was picking up on the fact that unfortunately years prior that she'd had a miscarriage, and she said, I've got a little boy with me, he's really hyper, he's running around the table, and I'm still sat here with this stick, and I'm like, I'm paying for this session, for crying out loud. So she gets back to me, and she takes her bit of wood back, and then she's like, I still can't read you. So I left so deflated, like, well, if she can't tell me, what am I going to do? So in the end, I sort of took it upon myself. I remember I was in my bedroom, sort of set the scene, like some candles, and I just asked out loud with full intention. I said, Angels, if you can hear me, I really, really, really want to know who you are, so, so that I can, I felt like I would feel I have that more of a connection, and I really, really wanted it. I asked out and I begged, please, can you tell me who you are? And so it wasn't long after that I had a really profound dream. I won't bore you with the dream because that's 5 minutes you're going to lose. But in the dream, I heard a male voice. I didn't see him, but he said crystal clear, Matt, Matt, Matt. And this was said 3 times on purpose because they knew I would get it. And so I came out of this dream like, oh, okay, wow, my angel's called Matt. This is great. Wow, you ask and you receive. So I was stoked, and I do remember thinking, but I don't know of any angels called Matt. That's weird. So I was Googling it, and as we all know with Google, it literally doesn't matter these days. You can hunt anything down, whether it's right or wrong, and you'll somehow manage to find something to back it up. And I managed to find an angel called Matthew. So I just thought, oh well, maybe it's Matthew. Maybe that's my angel, and just kind of went with that. Then it wasn't it wasn't long after that I saw my main guide Matt in my bedroom, in the bedroom doorway. So yeah, full bodied apparition. It was summer, the sun was coming through the window, I just lifted my head and I'm like, and there it was for a good second. Now, that might not sound long, but if you think it wasn't a flash, it was a good second. And if you think about it, that's quite a long time for a spirit to manifest. It takes a lot of energy, and I will never forget it. I saw his paisley top, his specs, his curly hair, his massive beam, his smile, his cheeks, and he was just so pleased to be seeing me, and he was waving like frantically, and and then he just disappeared, and I was just like, okay. And I was still in a bit of a daze. So I went to have my morning wee. I'm in the ensuite and I'm just sat there and I'm like, what the hell? Like the penny dropped. I was like, what the hell? That's my main spirit guide. It's not one of my angels, because it was around this time that I had started drawing the faces and the visions that I was being shown, and I would feel the pull to draw certain faces, and I remember thinking, oh my god, that I've got to draw him now. So like the other portraits, I just couldn't wait to pack my kids off to school, went and drew him, and yeah, I wasn't very good at drawing back then. I mean, yeah, it's crude to say the least, but I do love this picture because obviously it was the first thing I drew of him. So I will try and put that there for when I edit this. And I actually saw Matt also in younger form, so he was slimmer, he didn't have specs, and I will also try and put that there. So what then? Yeah, so that's how I came to visually see him. And then the funny thing was, after all this, my friend, my clairvoyant friend, for those who watch my videos, I keep referring to this lady as my clairvoyant friend. She was my mentor for a bit years ago, but I don't want to have to keep calling her my clairvoyant friend, so I'm sure she won't mind me saying her name from now on. Her name's Karen Price. She's an amazing clairvoyant medium from the southwest. If you just type into Google Karen Price clairvoyant, her website will come up, and yeah, you can have one-on-one readings, or she does it remotely. She does readings for people all over the world. So that's who my clairvoyant friend is. But yeah, she came over and I was just like, I really, really want to know who my angels are. And she was like, leave it with me. And she sort of tuned in, and she did. She said, you've got two with you. You've got one's got more of a female and one's got a male presence. And she described them. I remember one of them, the female, I believe was called Christania. And I forget the other one. I'm cross because I did have all of this written down and I cannot find it for the life of me. I don't know where it's gone. Um, but yeah, the female I believe was called Christania, and she had blonde, tumbling hair all down her front, and she was stunning. So this just shows, if you ask, you will receive. You know, if you really want it and you set out the intent, you will receive. So not only did I get to know who my angels were, I also got to know who my main guide was. So I had a 2 for 1. So yeah, and so a bit of a story on Matt. So the incarnation he has chosen to come through was a life sort of in the 60s, 70s. Um, he was a musician, he played in a band, he played guitar, and he's very flamboyant, a bit eccentric, really bubbly, lively soul. And he's come through in so many readings, and so it just keeps confirming that this dude is real. You know, they describe his personality, what he looks like, and I'm like, yes, Matt. And right now there is a bit of a debate. Um, I've kind of been given 2 versions of about his life. So the first one was that he was actually born in Yorkshire in England up north. And he still had a surviving relative. He had a sister that was at the time still alive. Yes, she was elderly, but she was alive. And from what I understand, he found out um, his girlfriend had been cheating on him, and he couldn't take it. He got his motorbike and he drove it into a tree and committed suicide. The other version I've been given is that he lived in America. Again, same time period, sort of the 60s, 70s, when all the liberal movement was going on. Yeah, he was a musician. He played guitar. He was also an artist, a poet. He was into all that stuff. But he dabbled in drugs, and apparently I shared that past life with him. I was his girlfriend. He basically got me pregnant, couldn't deal with it, buggered off, dabbling in his drugs and whatnot. And then when he came back to find me, um, apparently he found me in a squalid commune, um, and me and the baby had died. He couldn't cope, so he just either went on a drugs rampage and just died that way, or he did take an overdose and died. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't feel that. I know it's a bit odd that I've been given similar stories in that he committed suicide. You know, they got the whole vibe of being a musician, you know, but to me, I don't feel that he did commit suicide. I just don't. And I've actually had a medium at one point say, do you know what, I don't believe that either. So it's a bit of a grey area. But it is interesting that so many mediums have figured out exactly what he's like, and he's an absolute hoot. And I've had some amazing experiences with him. I remember on one occasion, I decided to do a guided meditation because I'm not going to lie, I suck at doing my own meditations. I can do them all day long for other people, hence why I'm a spirit artist. You know, I do it a lot, but for some reason, when it comes to myself, I really struggle with it. I have a terrible monkey brain. It's just a thing. I don't know why, but so I was doing this guided meditation, and I was lying on my bed, and I think I'd been going for a time of it, so I just really wanted to check in, and then I had this vision, and it was like 100% real, that he'd scooped me up in his arms, and he was like almost like cradling me like a baby, and he kissed me on the forehead, and he just, you know, held me tightly and rocked me back and forth. And I just remember then just bursting into floods of tears, and I had all these waves of goosebumps going through my body. It was pretty intense, but it was like he was like almost saying to me telepathically, just let it all out, let it all out. And I did. I just sobbed like a baby on the bed, And this whole time he was just embracing me, and I felt nothing but unconditional love. And I just didn't want to leave. I was just so happy with his arms around me, like while I was like resting on his knees while he rocked me back and forth, and felt so loved. And yeah, so getting to know your angels and your guides, it's a lovely journey. So please take from this, if you ask, you will receive. You've just got to be patient, and it might not always work out the way you think. Mine was a bit of a journey, but I got there in the end. So yeah, that's my story. And if you would like to order a spirit guide portrait, um, yeah, I'll put the link below. You can go to my website. There's a contact page where you can give me your details, and there's an order page, and yeah, you can order through that. All right. Well, if anybody's got any questions or would like to leave a comment, please be kind, and I'm going to head off now. All right. Bye.